Thomas here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back here for another mansion build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this luxury mega mansion. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up in the gallery now. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1, and I will also have a link in the description to the online gallery if you want to go ahead and download the build that way. So like I said, this is a luxury mega mansion. This is built on a 64 by 64 lot in the country of Windenburg. It has 8 bedrooms and 9 bathrooms, and it came in at 571,286 simoleons, so that is a lot of simoleons. But you know, this of course is going to be for your richer sims, so you know, maybe for them this isn't such a problem, but it is definitely on, you know, the pricey side of the build I do. But I'm so happy how this build turned out, and it did take me a little bit longer as well. I think this one took around like 2.5 hours, maybe even closer to 2 3/4 of an hour, so I'm not actually too sure, but it did take a lot longer than my other builds, and not only because it's on a 64 by 64, a lot of the time when I do mansions I tend to just do 50 by 50s, and you know, I do them every week as well, so that kind of helps with kind of speeding things up as I kind of get into routine of doing big builds all the time. But you know, it's still a lot bigger than some other builds because it has a lot more bedrooms, a lot more stuff going on. So in terms of kind of what other things it's got apart from, you know, 8 bedrooms and 9 bathrooms, it has a lot of different living rooms. I'm thinking there's actually maybe 5 or 6 living rooms, which is crazy. They're not all like huge, you know, just huge ones. Some of them are like really little ones, like little library rooms or something. I don't really know how to describe it, but you'll see that a little bit later when we get to that, and I'll kind of explain it then. But there's also this kind of guest house thing on the side of the house, which is not like connected to it at all, where the garage is, I just saw there. Now, I don't really know like what's the thing about that, because it's not like it's, you know, sorry, I just hit my microphone. I'm out of practice here because I haven't done a video in like a week because I've been on vacation, but I'll talk about that later. Anyway, so it's not like that house on the side, like, so if you look from the front, the right hand side building, it's not like that's a separate house, like it doesn't have its own kitchen or anything like that. It's just like an extension to the house that's separate from it, really. So in that, there's a lot of things in there. There's like a living room, there's like some other activities, there's a study in there, there's 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and there's also a cinema in that room, well, in that building as well, which I don't do that often in my builds. And actually, to be honest, I can't really remember even doing like an indoor cinema movie theatre thing in my builds, at least anytime recently. So I thought that'd be a nice addition since it is a very kind of big house, and it had a lot more extra rooms to fill up because I didn't want to go more than 9 bedrooms because it's not really that practical because you're not going to really use them, because you can only have 8 sims in a house, so you know, 9 is definitely more than that. So I don't really know if you like to see, you know, bigger mansions of that. Actually, saying that, I did do a build called a mega mansion like over a year ago now, and that build was like, I want to do like something really crazy. So it was on a 64 by 64 lot, it had 3 stories, and it had like close to 20 bedrooms, I think, and also a similar amount of bathrooms as well. It's totally unpractical, and it took me a long time, but I was just really into mansions back then and like doing them on a huge big scale as well, before I kind of, you know, once I like started doing mansions on a regular basis. As you know, I do mansions every week now, and I have been doing that since, well, over a good year now. And I'm actually coming up to my 100th mansion build as well. Anyway, so, you know, when I first started doing that, I was like, okay, I've got to do like the biggest mansion I possibly can on a 64 by 64 lot. But now as time's gone on, I've kind of, you know, thought about more themes I can do for mansion builds, and also kind of changing up the sizes. So, you know, I've done them on 50 by 50s. I've even done 50 by 40s and 40 by 40s and still class them as mansions before. So I'm not all about that, you know, really huge, big 3-story, 20 bedroom mansions anymore. Just kind of, you know, doing different things with the mansion theme. So I didn't talk about what packs this build uses. Now, just to kind of, before I tell you, it does use a lot, and I mean, that's kind of sort of expected for a build this size anyway. But what I did do after I finished the build, I did go back through the house and removed items that were maybe like, you know, say, well, actually I'll give you a couple examples. For example, from backyard stuff, I only used the drink, like lemonade pitcher thing, so I removed that item, and that took that whole pack out of the build for just the sake of one item. It was the same with fitness stuff. I used one painting from there and also the treadmill, so you remove those 2 items, and again that got rid of another pack. Now I don't do that with all the packs though. There are a lot of packs in this build where I use a lot of items from them, but packs like that where, you know, you may see the build in the gallery, realise it has fitness stuff in it, and like, oh, I don't have that, so I can't download it anymore, when really all I have to do is remove an item and that pack is gone from the build. So I feel like things like that, it just makes it a little bit more easier for you to download things without having to look through all the items and see what you have and what you don't. So I'm just going to read out the packs that we're using in this build. So I used all the expansions apart from Get to Work, I think. Hang on, let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I did actually just use... it was just Get to Work that I didn't use from the expansions. And then for the game packs, I used Jungle Adventure, Parenthood, Dine Out and Spa Day, and then for the stuff packs I used Laundry Day, Cool Kitchen and Perfect Patio. So not a lot of stuff packs, but in terms of Laundry Day I did actually make a laundry room in this build, because sometimes I used to do that a lot in the bigger builds, like do a laundry room, and then I just stopped doing them really. Not only like making big builds like that, like big laundry rooms, but also I stopped playing it myself in my own gameplay, so I tended not to put it in my builds either. I've talked before in previous builds why I don't really use laundry anymore, or why I don't put it in my builds, but I thought since I do have a lot of extra rooms to fill up in this build, I thought it'd be nice to do that. So there is a huge laundry room in this build. Now, what I also did was, now I actually prefer doing this when I play in bigger builds myself, is that with the laundry hamper, I actually only put it in the laundry room itself, instead of putting laundry hampers all around the house and like, you know, every bedroom or every bathroom. I just put one in the laundry room itself. Now, I prefer doing that myself when I play with bigger builds, because I feel like, you know, your Sims got to walk around the whole house collecting all the laundry piles and stuff. I feel it's just easy to have one laundry hamper. I just feel like that's easier for everybody to play with, and I've just realised that myself over playing with laundry over time. It's just easy to have one laundry hamper for me personally, so I did that in this build as well, especially since it's so big and there's so many areas to it. I don't think your sim will have a lot of fun spending hours walking out of the house collecting all the laundry piles, so I did go ahead and do that in the laundry room, but actually thinking there is actually only one laundry hamper in that laundry room, so you may want to add an extra one in or something if you are playing with a huge big family. If you're only playing with a small family in this build, maybe it won't be so much of a problem, but I'm just kind of thinking that if you have a lot of Sims in here and they're all using it, maybe it'll like overpile. So just as a, you know, little tip there, if you end up having that problem, just add an extra laundry basket in. So, we're now onto the interior. We haven't finished the exterior yet. I do this a lot sometimes in my builds, where I kind of do, I just jump around all a lot just to kind of keep it more interesting, but I have been trying to stop doing that as much. Like sometimes it'd be really ridiculous, like I'll be working on a bit of landscaping, haven't even done the roofing, and I'm already on the kitchen. So I thought, you know, the idea of jumping around a build was kind of good to keep things more interesting, but maybe that's a little bit kind of excessive. So what I did in this build is kind of did most of the exterior, like got, you know, some of the landscaping in, most of the exterior features like set in place, and then I went ahead and did all the interior and came back to finish off the exterior furnishing and landscaping and a little bit of extra exterior details at the end. So that's what I did there. So this right here is the laundry room. As you can see, it is a pretty decent size. You definitely don't need all the space, but you know, it is a big mansion after all, and there is a lot of space to fill up, so I thought it'd be kind of a good idea just to kind of, you know, make a nice big laundry room. And you know, everything's on a bigger scale in this build anyway, since it's such a huge expensive mansion, so I thought I'll do that as well with the laundry room. So this right here is one of the living rooms. I would probably say that this is like the main one, since it's in the main part of the house, and it's really the only one that's in the main part of the house downstairs anyway. So I did go ahead and do this here. So it's a very nice big size. It has like a separate little fireplace area there with 2 armchairs, and then on the other side of the room, like here, it does have like a little TV area and some more kind of comfy seating areas and stuff. So that's what I did there. And also there's like a study room that kind of goes off from here as well, which we'll be working on in just a second. And I did actually do a few study rooms in this build. There are some like general kind of computer desks here and there throughout the build, and in some bedrooms as well, but I did also do a few kind of study rooms too. And, you know, I did one on the other side of the house as well, on that exterior building, just to make it easier if you kind of, you know, use that part of the build more than this one. And what I also did was as well, you may have seen this. Now, I didn't actually put this in the exterior to start with, but I do add this in later. I think we've already done it at this point. But there's kind of like a balcony that actually connects the kind of separate building on the right to the main part of the house, just an upstairs balcony. And I thought it'd be a nice idea, because it adds like a bit of extra sort of, you know, just something else to look at on the exterior, if that makes sense. Has a little glass roof area to it as well, and also a little seating area on that balcony walkway area too. So originally, the 2 doors on either side of the house where you kind of access the balcony area were actually through bedrooms to begin with, and I didn't actually think about that when I put the balcony area in. So instead of making those 2 into bedrooms, I thought that might be, you know, I mean, it works, but just in real life, when you think about it may be better to have like more like public spaces to kind of go through there instead of having to walk through somebody's bedroom, if that makes sense. entrance. So where those 2 patio doors are to get onto, I said doors really weirdly there, didn't I? Anyway, so to get onto that balcony area, I did make the 2 rooms either side of that where the doors are into like general, just like a sitting room, some general activities like a desk as well, and like a bookshelves and things like that. So this is another example of one of these little living room areas. It's really small, so it's got a few activities in it. I did also go ahead and put a dartboard there as well. Now I'm actually not too sure, I should have play tested this, but I'm not actually too sure if that dartboard will work, because the tiles kind of like, you know, it fits in the room, but the tile, like the end tile of the dartboard, where you kind of walk on, it goes right to the end of the wall. So I'm not actually too sure if that would work or not. I'm pretty sure it would, because it is, you know, like at the end of the day, it is still within the room, if that makes sense, but it's on the very end of the room. So I'm not too sure if that would work, but you could easily rearrange things if you really want a dartboard in though. And this right here is another one of the bedrooms. Now, I didn't do a lot of personalised rooms today. I have been trying to do a few more personalised rooms though. So there are a lot of neutral ones in the build, but I did do a few kind of just different coloured rooms as well, and also some kids rooms, as you can see here. So this one right here before like a child girl, I would imagine. There's also a very neutral kids rooms as well, with like a, well, there's actually just one, which is all like just cream and white, and it has like, you know, a few kids toys in it as well, and also like a neutral bed and stuff, just to kind of make it easy for you to fit any type of kid into that. But of course, feel free to do what you want. I just thought it'd be nice to make a kids room, but also go with that neutral kind of bedroom theme idea that I always tend to go for as well. So this right here is the kind of cinema movie theatre room, and I haven't done one of these in a while actually, like I was saying at the beginning, so it was really nice to do this for a change. So I did like a huge big TV area there, so that one is from City Living, I believe. It also has a games console there as well, just if you want to play that, and also a few bookshelves there, and if you like just made like a shelving unit out of that. Also put a few dividers behind the TV for no reason really, just as an extra kind of decorative thing. I do that sometimes, so I did that. And there's also a little kitchen area here too. Now I wanted to kind of have that as like a popcorn area and stuff like that, but I realised that the popcorn machine was the only item that I used for movie hangout stuff, so I did actually end up just deleting that item, because I thought, you know, it's another pack in the build and I only used that one item for it, so I just went ahead and took that pack out of the build. So there isn't any popcorn machines in this build, but feel free, if you do have that pack, to go back in and add a popcorn machine onto that empty space in that counter in the cinema room. So if you want to do that, then feel free. I just took it out to make it easier for the pack restriction and stuff like that. So that right there was the gym that we're just working on. That's in the garage area. I should probably know by now, if you've seen, well, pretty much any of my speed builds, if there is a gym in it, it's normally in where the garage area would be, that's always where I tend to put it. I just think it's a good kind of use of the space, so I went ahead and did that. I also totally forgot to mention that, as I said at the beginning, I said I was going to come back to this later, but this is actually my first video back from a kind of week-long vacation. So if you follow me on Instagram, I was updating my Instagram story a lot. I did actually just go to Scotland, and now it doesn't really sound that exciting, but we actually had a really nice house. It was actually brand new. It was like ultra modern, right on like the loch. It was absolutely amazing. It was also like during a heat wave as well. It was literally like I was in a foreign country, like abroad or something. It was amazing. So I know people, when you think of Scotland, you're like, why would you want to go to Scotland? But honestly, if you get like a really nice house to stay in, and I'm not personally bothered about all this adventure stuff and like climbing mountains and stuff like that, just kind of relax. It was so nice, and it was a brand new house with the first people in that one, and it was amazing. So I did kind of post a few things on my Instagram story if you saw that, but it's always really weird when I kind of come back from a break or something, because I haven't done a voiceover in like a week in a few days, so it's really weird to come back to doing videos when I haven't done one for like, I haven't even like played The Sims for like a full week, when I normally play it like several times a day. So it was really weird to come back to this, but I'm actually really happy how this build turned out. It was actually really nice as well to kind of just take a break from the game. I was talking to my friend Yorkie about this, but it's kind of like, you know, as pretty much record every single day, and you know, it can, as much as I really love doing this, it can sometimes get a little bit repetitive and sometimes just be really draining when you're doing like the same thing over and over again. So to take a break, kind of just refresh and kind of rethink some ideas and things about the channel and mansion builds and things like that, it was really nice to do that and just take a break away from not having to play the game for a week, and it was just kind of a really nice break. But we're back into it now. Anyway, so we're just doing a few finishing touches here. I am just going through doing some outdoor lighting. Now you would have saw there that I was actually doing some kind of lighting throughout the kind of plants and stuff like that and the landscaping. Now normally I don't do that, I don't know why, but I used to do it a lot, but I just ended up sticking with like, you know, lights on porches and those big like lamp, like what do you call them, like street lamps sort of thing that I put in from cats and dogs. There's also some nice ones from base game as well. Those sort of things, not really the pool lights in the landscaping, if you would, well, you can kind of see what I mean. Anyway, so I went ahead and put that in just as an extra little detail, since there are a lot of nice kind of exterior features and activities in this build. I wanted it to look really nice at night time as well. But yeah, so we're on to the screenshots now. I really hope you enjoyed this build. In the comment section down below, let me know about what you thought of it. If you have any more suggestions for other builds or anything else, like mansions, anything else that you want to see on the channel next, that would be really helpful to hear. Leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and like I said, you can go ahead and download this build from the gallery. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!